Good day everyone and welcome to our Industrial Organization Management. So we're going to discuss the lesson 1 of the corporate social responsibility and the business ethics under the chapter 2 of the modern management challenges. So let's have the objectives on this chapter. So we have 6 objectives. Number 1 is understanding of the term corporate social responsibility. Number 2, an appreciation of the argument both for the against and the assumption of social responsibilities by business. Number 3, useful strategies for increasing the social responsiveness of an organization. Number 4 is the insight into the planning, organizing, influencing, and controlling of social responsibility activities. Number 5, a practical plan for how society can help business meet its social obligation. And lastly, an understanding of the relationship between ethics and the management. So we're going to have a brief description of the fundamentals of social responsibility. So social responsibility is an ethical theory in which individuals are accountable for fulfilling their civic duty, and the action of an individual must benefit the whole of the society. In this way, there must be a balance between economic growth and the welfare of the social and the environment. So, based dito, yung social responsibilities are by means of the individuals and companies have duty to act in their best interest of their environment and the society as a whole. Or yung social responsibility natin is only it applies to business or known as the social a corporate social responsibility o yung tinatawag nating CSR. Okay, so Davis model of corporate SR. So it states that the social costs related to each activity, products, or service shall be passed on the consumer. This implies that consumer must be ready to buy services from business to help them maintain operational functions. So si Davis kasi, yung Davis model kasi is one of the list of 5 propositions na nagde-describe on how and why the business should be adhere to the obligation to take action and protect and improve the welfare of the society as well as the organization. So kadalasan kasi ang business kasi must be willing to listen to what must be done or to sustain or improve the social welfare. So the proposition of Davis model of the corporate or the SR. So 5 yung binabanggit natin. Number 1 is the social responsibility arises from the social power. So pagka sinabi natin, ito yung mga preposition na derive from the understanding of a business that has significant amount or influence on, o ito yung mga power over various critical issues like yung pagdating sa environment, minority employment, neighborhood, or development, and etc. So kadalasan ang business in the country are primarily determine the various of situation like employment and environment all over the atmosphere that citizens get to live in. Or since the business has power and influence over the society can should hold the business responsibility for the social condition that results from the exercise of the power. Number 2, business shall operate as a two-way open system with open receipt of inputs from society and open disclosure of its operation to the public. So it means that business must be willing to listen to what must be done to sustain or improve the social welfare. Or in turn, the society must be willing to listen to the business report on what it is doing to meet the social responsibilities. So Davis suggested that there must be an ongoing or honest and open communication between business and society or society's representative in the overall welfare of the society, or representative is overall welfare of the society to determine or to maintain or to improve. So number 3, the social costs and benefits of an activity, product, or service shall be thoroughly calculated and considered in deciding whether to proceed with it. So this is the technical feasibility and the economic profitability and the short-term and long-term consequences of all activities of a business must be considered before undertaking them. For the number 4, the social costs related to each activity, product, or service shall be passed on to the customer. So this is the proposition that state the business cannot be expected to completely finance activities that may be socially advantage or more on advantage but economically disadvantage. So the cost of maintaining the socially desirable activity with the business should be passed on the customer through the higher prices for the goods and services related to this activity. So we have the number 5 proposition. So business institution as citizen have the responsibility to become involved in certain social problems that are outside their normal areas of operations. So if a business processes or the expertise to solve a social problem with which it may be directly associated, it should be held responsible for helping the society solve the problem. Since the business is eventually will reap and increase profit from the generally improved society, businesses should share the responsibility of all citizen to generally improve the society. So in this given proposition, we can identify what this all about, kung ano yung gusto niyang i-point pagdating sa social welfare development of each individual. So we have the areas of SR or the social responsibility. Number 1 is the economic aspect. When we are talking about the economic aspect, so it deals with the company's need to maintain strong economic interests so they can stay in a business. So dito is more on profitable and providing the value to shareholders is part of the company being socially responsible. For number 2, we have the legal aspect. This is the company must follow the law and have a legal obligation to do so. For example, the car companies are required to meet a certain level of emission standard in car production. So something like that. Merong mga rules and regulation to be implemented. So we have the ethical aspects. So acting ethically means going above or beyond the legal requirements and meeting the expectation of the society. In recent example, yung Apple, no, companies or incorporated, policies was questioned when it was discovered the high suicide rate of workers producing iPhones in the Chinese factory. So something like that. So we have the number 4, philanthropic aspect. So this is the expectation of the company should give back to the society in the form of charitable donation of time, money, and goods. So some organizations such yung mga REI natin based on the settled or yung mga nasa Washington, they are donated at least 3% of the profit and 1,000 of hours to non-profit community group each year. So ibig sabihin, based on their profits of the company, they are exerting more give or community service or they are giving, kumbaga parang payback na rin nila, no, for the other company or for the customer na patronizing their company. So we have the varying opinions of SR. So arguments for business performing of SR activities and arguments against business performing SR activities. So kapag sinabi kasi nating arguments of for business purposes, ito yung mga supporting social responsibilities natin. They are support, no? The justification of for existence of growth, yan. Yung mga long-term interest in the firm or yung avoidance for the government regulations, or maintenance of the society, availability of the resource with business, converting problems into opportunities, and holding business responsible for social problems. So, yung mga ito, for example, yung justification for the existence of growth. Ito yung mga primary goals of the business to make profit, as profit can help the business to sustain or to expand. Yung mga profit should be made as a return of service to the society by producing goods and services. Pagka sinabi naman nating long term in the interest of firm, so ito yung mga maximum profit with the long run with the highest goals of the service to society. So yung mga humans are social being, they are noticed that particular corporation is not serving the best interest socially, they do not support the organization further. So we have the avoidance of the government regulations. Ito yung mga highest authority of the nation. So, ibig sabihin, the government feel that the business is not socially responsible or creating problems like yung mga pollutions, government limits of freedom. So, yan. So, we have the maintain of the society. So, dito naman is more on the important pillars on which the society survive. This is the responsibility of the business to take care of the society's need. Ito yung mga businesses contribute to the well-being, peace, harmony of the society. Another is the availability of the resources with the business. So ito naman yung mga huge financial resources or very efficient managers and contacts. They can be ensured that the social problem can be solved easily. And another is converting problem into opportunities. Ito naman yung mga business risks. Na turning risky situation into profit can also be related to the solving social problem. And lastly, the holding business responsibility for social problems. Ito yung mga enterprises or business responsible for many problems. Yung katulad ng pollution, discrimination with the employees, yung mga corruption, and etc. So, this is the duty of the business to solve those problems created by them. So, yun siya. Pagka sinabi naman nating argument against business performing SR activity, so ito naman yung mga violation of the maximum of the profit motive. So, ito yung mga statement argues that business exists only maximizing profits and businesses fulfill their social responsibility best by maximizing the profit by increasing efficiency or reducing the cost. They need not take up any additional obligation. Another is the side effect of consumers. So consumers suffer because of the solving social problems and taking social care require huge financial statement, no, or investment. So dito, money with the business is used in social help, social business increase the cost of their products and services. Another is lack of social skills. This is often stated with the businessman don't fully under the social problem that can't solve them efficiently. And lastly, this the personal resistance. So dito, people tend to dislike interference from the business in their problems. So we have the conclusion about the performance of the SR activities. So we have 3. So performing required SR activities, voluntarily performing SR activities, communicating the degrees of the SR involvement. So ibig sabihin sa conclusion about the performance of the SR activities by business. So, ito yung mga corporate social responsibility natin or yung mga CSR still in the given stage. So, the study of the CSR has been hampered by a lack of consensus on the definition of the phenomenon or unifying the theory, the measures, the unsophisticated empirical methods, or yung mga tinatawag nating in terms of the globalization also added to the complexity of the CHR issues. So, despite of this concern and issues, there's still some excellent research on this topic, which has been gathered through different volume or the specifically volume that contains findings from numerous experts in a wide variety of the social science disciplines or fields of the business administration who have summarized the body of the CSR literature and also the outline, the agenda for the additional research. So, ibig sabihin, this is the important note for the CSR practices, and the product features are not always totally transparent and observable to the consumer and stakeholders. This makes it difficult for consumer and the other stockholders to evaluate the firm's social performance. So we have the social responsiveness and decision making. Social responsiveness in the degree of effectiveness and efficiency of an organization displays in pursuing its social responsibilities. So the greater the degree of the efficiency and effectiveness, or the more social responsive of the organization is to be said, no? The only responsive organization that is both effective and efficient meet the social responsibilities without wasting organizational resources in the process. You need to determine exactly the social responsibility of the organization, or you need to pursue in deciding how much ano or what will be the critical decision making aspect of maintaining the high level of social responsiveness. So, kadalasan yung mga managers natin, sila yung mas nagde-decide whether the organizations should undertake the activities or its own or acquired the help of the outsider with more expertise in this specific area. So, in addition to the decision making of the managers or the top management, so various approaches to meet the social obligation and another determinant of the organization levels of the social responsiveness. A desirable and social responsiveness approach to meet the social obligation involves in different aspects. Pwedeng incorporation of social goals in manual planning process, pwedeng seeking of comparative industry norms and the social program, representing the report of the organization members, the boards of directors, the stockholders, the progress in social responsibility. Or experimenting with different approaches for measuring the social performance. And last, pwede nating i-attempt to measure the cost of the social program as well as the return on social program investments. So, we have the approaches to meeting the social obligation. So, tatlo. The social obligation approach, the social responsibility approach, and the social responsiveness approach. So, ibig sabihin, for each approaches, we need to contain the different behaviors that reflect somehow different attitudes with regards to business performing social responsibility activities. So, those social obligation approach are considered in business having primary or economically purposes and confines the social responsibilities activities mainly to conformance of the existing law. The social responsibility approach sees business of having both economic and societal goals. The social responsibility approach considered business is having both societal and economic growth or goal as the obligation to anticipate upcoming social problem and to work actively to prevent their appearance. So, kadalasan ng ating mga organization ay may mga different, no, or characterized by the different attitudes and behavior with the social responsiveness approach. So, dito, we need to characterize the attitudes and behavior at the same time the social responsibility approach or the social obligation approach. So, lastly, the characterized by the social responsibility approach or achieve higher level of social responsiveness than organization, then characterized siya by the social obligation. Or pwede siyang yung mga management natin is more on proactive, or yung mga leading managers natin will do a business viewpoint to reduce liabilities whether our law requires an action or not. So we have the social responsibility activities. So we have the organizational social responsibility, or the OSR function as a social responsibility analysis is a planning exercise in which managers identify organizational identification of social relevant behavior, the determination of those social responsibility policies to life, to quote a senior manager. So dito, every managers ay more more focuses on the SRO, or the social responsibility of the organization management, no? Because the organization or the function is to build a self-regulating mechanism where a business or monitor ensure its active compliance with the spirit of the law, ethical standards, international norms. So yung approach kasi ng OSR is becoming more widely accepted to a community-based development approach. So kadalasan ng OSR natin ay more on the corporation work with the local communities to for themselves. In addition, the manager or yung MSR natin, or the managerial social responsibility na natin, is responsible, or their responsibility for every manager's or for her or his actions. Yan. So we have the converting organizational policies on HR into actions. So we have the 3 phases. Phase 1 is consists of recognition by top managers of the social obligation. Number 2 is to involve the staff personnel as well as the top management. Number 3 is involve decision management in addition to above personnel. So, based on the given figure 3-2, the integration of the social responsibility activities and planning activities. So, ito yung kasi yung social responsibility activities and the management, no? So, we have the environmental forecast. So, we have the categories or the different criteria to be considered, the social, economic, political, and technological. So, then, what will be the result? No, so you need to run the plan. So the result, so what will be the short run plans, and what will be the manager's action. So they need to consider the long run and the short run at the same time. While they are doing the or identifying the short run, the managers should also conduct a feedback. What will be the feedback? Same with the short run. So we have the figure 3-3, the conversion of social responsibility policy into action. So by the given phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, so you will encounter the chief executive or under the organizational level. So they have the issue, what are the issue for phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, what will be the action taken by the managers, and what will be the outcome, no? So based on the given table, so the phase 1 is the corporate obligation, phase 2 is to obtain knowledge, number 3 or phase 3 is the obtain organizational commitment. So action, write and communicate policy. Sa natin will be add staff specialists, change the performance expectation, and lastly, what will be the outcome? Enrich purposes or increase the awareness. So another, so 3-3 of 3, the conversion social responsibility into action. So this is based on the phase 2. So yung kanina natin is this ano na encounter dun sa phase 1, no? Pagka naman sa phase 2 natin, organizational involvement, technical problem na siya, design data, system, technical information on the grounds. Lastly, for phase 3, no, we have the figure 3. This is the conversion of social responsibility policy into action. No? Management problem, commitment resources, and increase the responsiveness. This is more on focuses on the division of the management. So we have the organizing of social responsibility. So the responsibility of the organization for the impacts of its decision and activities on social and the environment through transparent and ethical behavior that contributes to sustainable development, including health and the welfare of the society, takes into account of expectation of the stakeholders. So we have the influence individual performings pa rin. Paano naman sila nagkakaroon ng influential? Social responsibility is the ethical theory in which individuals are accountable in fulfilling their civic duty, and the action of the individual must be benefits the whole of the society. In this way, there must be a balance between the economic growth and the welfare of the society and the environment. Kung mapapansin nyo, lahat naman to is focusing on the welfare of the society. No? So we have the controlling of the SR activity. So we have 4 control, how to control. So we have the economic functions. So give some indication of the economic contribution to the organization is making to the society. Number 2 is the quality of life, whether the organization is improving or degrading the general quality of life in the society. Kumbaga dito ay makikita natin what will be the status within the society. Number 3 is the social investment, the degree to which the organization is investing both money and human resources to solve the community's social problem. Balance ba yung paggamit ng mga different resources at the same time yung mga human factor within the community area. Number 4 is the problem solving, the degree to which the organization deals with the social problems. Yan. So we have the social audit of a progress report. So the social audit is the process of taking measurement of the socially responsible activities of the organization. The basic steps in conducting the social audit are monitoring, measuring, and appraising as the aspect of the organization's social responsible performance. Probably not two organization conduct and the present results of the social audit in exactly the same way. So, ibig sabihin yung factor kasi na to affects the business organization in which the role of the social responsibility is internationally markedly environment ba siya or hindi. So, kadalasan yung mga business leaders natin are need to have a background and experience or working with the social issues in different political, geographical, language, and social contexts. So, kapag naman mga international companies kasi, they are overlook at this, they are thinking what will be the cost or what will be the cost of embarrassment to their company. At the same time, what will be the loss of opportunity and reduce the financial resources. So, kadalasan yung mga managers natin ngayon ay increasingly need to be more aware to the separate of the interrelated concern, business ethics, and the social responsibility. So we have the figure 3-4, how Chevron Texaco company includes the social responsibility in its organization chart. So for example, this is the chairman of the board or the CEO. At the same time, they have the given organizational responsibility. For example, the vice president for chief financial officer. So, meron siyang duties and responsibilities. Every position within the organization has duties and responsibilities. Hindi pwedeng siya lang lahat. Pero the chairman of the board needs to monitor all the different functions of the different positions. Okay, so how society can help the business meet social obligation? So, set rules, are the clear and consistent, keep the rules technically feasible, make sure the rules are economically feasible, Make the rules prospective, not retroactive. Make the rules goal setting, not procedure prescribing. So, ayan yung kailangan natin i-consider now for the social obligation. So, we have the ethics. So, ethics can be defined as concern of good behavior. People feel an obligation to consider not only their own personal well-being but also one of the human beings. So, ibig sabihin, yung ethics natin ay this is similar to the golden rule, no? So, do to others as you would have them to do to you. So, ibig sabihin sa business, kapag sinabi nating more on business ethics, so, ang definition niya is the ability or willingness to reflect on values of the course of the organization. Organizations in terms of the decision-making process to determine how the values or decision affect the various stakeholders of the group, or to establish how managers can be perceived in today's company's operation. Ethically, business leader will strive for fairness and justice within the confines of the sound management practices. So we have the why ethics is vital part of the management practices. So tatlo lang naman yung kanyang focuses: the productivity, the stakeholder relations, and the government regulations. So diyan siya kailangan mag-focus. So tinitingnan natin what will be the attitudes in terms of the productivity, in terms of the stakeholders, meron bang good relationship ba within the company's employees or the stakeholders. Same with the government regulations. Are they following the law, the rules and regulations of the government? So we have the creating an ethical workplace. So we have the golden rules. So alam naman natin siguro yung golden rules. Act in a way you want others to act toward you. No, kumbaga wag mong gawin sa iba kung ayaw mong gawin sa iyo, something like that. Number 2 is the utilitarian principle. So ito yung act in ways the result the greatest good for the greatest number. We have Kant's categorical imperative. So ito naman ay act in such way that the action taken under the circumstances could be a universal law or rule of behavior. For number 4, we have the professional ethics. So take actions to that would be viewed as proper by disinterested panel or professional peers. Number 5 is the TV test, no? Ito yung always ask. What I feel comfortable explaining to the national TV audience, why I took this action, and so on. For number 6, the legal test. So, this is also asked whether the proposed action or decision is legal. Established law are generally considered minimum standard for ethics if you are given rules and policies to be considered. Lastly, the four-way test. So, whether your answer yes will be yes to the following question as they relate to the decision. If the decision is truthful or not. Is this fair to all the concerned? Yes or no? Or it will build a goodwill or improve friendship? Or it will be beneficial to the all concerned? Yeah. So that's the end of our lesson 2.1 in the organizational management or the IOM. So thank you and have a nice day.